Very good morning, dear students. In today's session, I'm going to discuss about data warehouse. Let us go to the session. So, in the last session, I have discussed with you collecting the data and integration of data. In the integration of the data, the important concept can be called as ETL process. E stands for extraction, T stands for transmission, and L stands for loading. Okay, so where the analyst can load the data, the analyst can load the data in the data warehouse. Okay, the analyst can load the data in the data warehouse. So, what do you mean by a data warehouse? A data warehouse is what is the characteristics of data warehouse? A data warehouse is a subject-oriented, integrated, time-variant, and non-volatile collection of data. Okay, in support of management decision making. I repeat, a data warehouse is a subject-oriented, integrated, time variant and non-volatile collection of data in support of management's decision-making process. So what do you mean by subject-oriented? What is the characteristics of subject-oriented? Subject-oriented implies that we all know that. So all the data which are collected and stored in the data values may be related to customers. Maybe it may be related to product. It may be related to the subject called as sales. Okay, it may be related to some subject. All the data which are collected in the data warehouse, data storage or data warehouse may be related to subject. So what are those subjects? Those subjects may be related to customer, those subjects may be related to profit and loss data, otherwise it may be related to the subjects such as employees, or it may be related to the concepts such as product. Or, okay, so basically the data warehouse is some subject oriented. And then the next concept, next important characteristics of data storage or data warehouse is integrated. We all know that we are not directly taking the data from one single source. We are collecting the data from various databases. So obviously the data has to be integrated. Okay, so all the data which is arriving in the area data storage will be the integrated data only. Okay, so that is why in the definition we are including the word integrate. So obviously it integrates the data from variety of operational sources and a variety of format. Okay, not only the data will not only available in a single format in data warehouse. Okay, as I already discussed in my previous session, it will be related to variety of formats such as relational database and management and then columnar data. Okay, some other different kind of files and legacy database management system and flat files, etc. So what do you mean by the next characteristic called as time variant? So all the data, okay, so which is arriving and which is stored in the data warehouse, okay, essentially stores a time series of periodic snapshot, especially past data or historical data. Okay, so it's a time variant. Okay, and OD, we all know that operational data storage. Okay, operational data storage. That kind of data storage will update the current data, whereas the data warehouse is not necessarily up to date. Okay, it's not necessarily up to date, but represent the state at some specific moment in a time, especially the past data. Then the last characteristics of data warehouse is non-volatile in nature, which implies that the data is primarily read-only. Okay, after it reaches the data warehouse, the analyst cannot do any modification. Okay, you cannot do any modification, and it cannot be updated. Okay, so you cannot do any modification or you cannot do any alteration in the data. So everything has to be done in the staging area. All those kind of modification has to be done in the staging area. So it will reach the data warehouse after complete cleaning only. So it is non-volatile in nature. Okay. So the next important concept, the next important data storage is in the business intelligent architecture is data mart. Okay, so what do you mean by data mart? A data mart is a data storage system that contains the information specific to an organization business unit. Okay, so we have a various business functions such as finance, marketing, and HR. Okay, and supply chain management. So companies use a data mart to analyze department specific information more efficiently. So data mart usually provides the summarized data that key stakeholders can use to quickly make some informed decision. Okay, so a data mart turns the raw information into structured, meaningful content for a specific business department. To do this, the data engineers set up a data mart to receive information either from data warehouse or directly from the external data sources. So when it is connected to data warehouse, the data mart retrieves a selection of information that is relevant to the business unit. Okay, so all the data from the various databases will reach the data warehouse. Okay, from the data warehouse, the data mart will retrieve the data, relevant data that is required for the specific business unit. So often the information contains summarized data. Okay, all the information that is stored in the data mart will be the information which contains the summarized data only and exclude the unnecessary data, okay, which is irrelevant to the specific business unit. Okay, for example, a company might store data from various sources such as supplier information, order or sensor data, or employee information and financial record, and store the department specific data in the data mart. Okay, so with this, I'm completing today's session. So in today's session, we have learned about data, uh, two important data storage in the business intelligent architectures. And the first one is data warehouse, and the second one is data mart, and how both data storage differ from each other. Okay, thank you so much for listening the session. See you in the next session.